Imagine a city where more than 8 million people wake up every single morning. Yet somehow, it never truly goes to sleep. A place where over 60 million tourists arrive every year, where hundreds of languages echo through the streets, and where fortunes are made or lost in a single day. This is a city that has survived devastating fires, economic crashes, blackouts, terrorist attacks, hurricanes, and even global pandemics. Yet every time, it has come back stronger. Welcome to New York City, a place where dreams are built, history is written, and the impossible somehow becomes reality. But behind its dazzling skyline lies a city filled with secrets, incredible engineering, hidden worlds beneath its streets, and stories stranger than fiction. This isn't just another city. This is New York. It all began in 1624 when Dutch settlers arrived on a small island called Manhattan. Legend says they bought the entire island from Native Americans for goods worth around $24. Whether that famous story is entirely true remains debated by historians, but one thing is certain. Few land deals in history have become as legendary. The Dutch named their settlement New Amsterdam. Just 40 years later, the British took control without firing a single shot and renamed it New York, after the Duke of York. No one could have imagined that this small colonial town would one day become one of the most influential cities on Earth. The city that reaches for the sky. If you've ever looked at New York's skyline, you've probably wondered, why are there so many skyscrapers? The answer lies underground. Beneath Manhattan is an incredibly hard layer of bedrock, strong enough to support enormous buildings. That geological advantage allowed engineers to build higher than almost anywhere else in the world. Today, New York is home to more than 300 skyscrapers, including some of the tallest and most recognizable buildings on Earth. Each one tells a story of ambition. Each one is a symbol of humanity's determination to reach higher. The financial capital of the world. Every weekday morning, millions of dollars begin moving through the streets of Lower Manhattan. Because this small area is home to Wall Street, the financial heart of the United States. Nearby stands the New York Stock Exchange, where trillions of dollars in investments influence economies across the globe. A decision made inside one building in Manhattan can affect businesses, governments, and families thousands of miles away. Few cities hold this much economic power, more languages than almost anywhere else. New York is often called the most diverse city in the world. And it's easy to understand why. People from nearly every country have made this city their home. In fact, more than 800 languages are spoken throughout New York City, making it one of the most linguistically diverse places on the planet. Walk through one neighborhood and you'll hear Spanish. Turn another corner and you'll hear Mandarin. A few blocks later, Arabic, Russian, Hindi, Bengali, Korean, French, Italian, and dozens more. Every street tells a different story. Every neighborhood feels like a different country. And together, they create one incredible city. But New York isn't famous only because of its history or its towering buildings. Some of its greatest wonders are the landmarks that millions recognize instantly. From a colossal green statue that welcomed generations of immigrants, to a park larger than some entire cities. The next chapter reveals the iconic places and the hidden secrets that make New York unlike anywhere else on Earth. Every city has famous landmarks, but in New York, these places are far more than tourist attractions. Each one tells a story of ambition, resilience, and innovation, stories that helped shape not only America, but the modern world. The statue that welcomed millions. Long before airplanes connected continents, millions of immigrants arrived in America by sea. After weeks crossing the Atlantic Ocean, the very first thing they saw wasn't a skyscraper. It was a giant green statue standing proudly in New York Harbor. The Statue of Liberty, gifted by France in 1886, quickly became a universal symbol of hope and freedom. To exhausted families escaping poverty, war, or persecution, seeing Lady Liberty meant one thing: a chance to start over. Over the decades, she has welcomed generations of dreamers seeking a better future. Standing nearly 93 meters from the ground to the tip of her torch, the statue remains one of the most recognizable monuments on Earth. A forest hidden in the middle of Manhattan. Now, imagine leaving one of the busiest streets on Earth, walking just a few hundred meters, and suddenly finding yourself surrounded by lakes, forests, waterfalls, and birdsong. That place exists. It's called Central Park, covering more than 840 acres. Central Park is larger than some entire country's city centers. Although it looks completely natural, almost everything inside the park was carefully designed by landscape architects in the 1800s. Millions of trees were planted. Artificial lakes were created. Thousands of tons of soil were transported to transform rocky land into a green paradise. Today, more than 40 million people visit Central Park every year. It serves as New York's lungs, providing fresh air, wildlife habitats, and a peaceful escape from the city's relentless pace. It's hard to believe that just beyond those trees, millions of people continue rushing through one of the busiest cities on Earth. Times Square, the brightest crossroads in the world. As the sun sets, another side of New York awakens. Welcome to Times Square. With giant digital billboards towering above crowds from every corner of the globe, this intersection has become one of the most photographed places on Earth. Every New Year's Eve, more than 1 million people gather here to watch the famous ball drop, while millions more watch from around the world. The lights of Times Square are so powerful that astronauts aboard the International Space Station have reportedly been able to distinguish Manhattan from space because of its intense nighttime illumination. The square never truly sleeps. Whether it's 3 p.m. or 3 a.m., you'll still find performers, musicians, tourists, and flashing advertisements turning night into day. The world's largest subway system. But beneath all this excitement lies another city, one that most visitors barely notice. Hidden beneath New York streets is one of the largest subway systems in the world. With more than 470 stations and hundreds of kilometers of track, the subway operates 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Every day, millions of passengers travel through a vast underground network that keeps the city alive. Without it, New York would almost certainly come to a standstill. Some abandoned stations still exist beneath the city, frozen in time with vintage tiles and forgotten platforms, silent reminders of New York's ever-changing history. A city built up and down. This is New York City.